Computer. Okay. Hope you're well. Yeah, I think I'm recording. Uh, Hello everyone. Hope you're well this fine Saturday afternoon. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, maybe just give me a thumbs up or just give me a reaction on the chat or anywhere
Loud
else
and clear.
if you can hear
Loud
me.
and clear on my end.
You can hear me. Hi, Terrence. Hope you're well. Thank you. Yeah, you can hear me well. Perfect. Okay, I think we're full house today, which is really exciting. So my name is Mark. Adeline, I think, is here somewhere. I'll let her introduce herself at some point. So for today's session, we'll be talking about the AWS Community Builder program. Really excited to have that going on. The reason why we're even starting early, I think we're action-packed. We have a lot of speakers going to speak today about their experience about the AWS Community Builder program and how it works. If you've not heard about the Builder program, I think we'll paste the link on the chat about what it's about, and maybe you could apply for it because the deadline I think is on 20th on Monday, right? So you can kind of look at it on the chat here, but also the community builders who will be speaking to you today are really accomplished. They've done a lot of amazing stuff, so you'll kind of learn from them as you go on. I'll let also Adele kind of introduce herself, give you guys some greetings, then we'll let the speakers go on from there. So Adeline, you can go on, then we'll start. Adeline.
Yes, I'm here. Thanks, Mark. Hi, team. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year to every one of us. Thank you for creating time to join this event. Looking forward to learn more from the speakers and also from the attendees. Yeah, thank you. Back to you, Mark.
Okay, thank you. So for part of the introduction, I'll just introduce the speakers, who they are, and then from there, we'll start with Kevin. Hopefully, Kevin, I think you're ready. Then Pauline will be the next person. Then lastly, we'll finish with Terrence. They'll kind of it's a laid back discussion about the Community Builder program, and we'd love to see more people join and also just kind of demystify it. Then also, if you have any Q&A, like questions about the Builder program, we're happy to kind of answer them as we go on. All right, great. I don't know why this thing is still here. Hopefully you can see my screen. Yes, so the Community Builder program. The three speakers we have today, one is Terrence Chibire, who is an AWS Community Builder. I think 4 years in the running right now. He's a cloud trainer. He's a technology lead at Alma, and he's an all-round community person. He's always active on LinkedIn, always sharing knowledge about cloud. That's one of our speakers. The next one, actually, I do have a slide on that, right? Okay, sorry, Terrence, yes. So Terrence is an AWS Community Builder, technology lead at Alma, and also all-round community builder, mentor, and also trainer. Next, I'll go to Pauline, actually. So Pauline, I can't say your second name, so Pauline probably, you'll kind of mention it at some point. So she's an AWS Authorized Instructor. She's actually, I think she's done a few pro examinations, I believe. So she's really well versed in that, and she's 4X certified and also an AWS Community Builder. She does have a YouTube channel also talking about cloud in a very fun, interactive way. So really excited to have her on also with that. And last but not least, Kevin Tuei. I don't even know if I have to introduce these people really, but Kevin is very active on LinkedIn, very always ready to share knowledge about cloud, and he's always a trailblazer and a thought leader in cloud, not just in cloud, computer science, and software technology as a whole. He's a certified educator, technology mentor, cloud developer. All right. So those are the people we have for our lineup today. I'll let Kevin kind of just start us off about the Community Builder program and how it is. Then we'll go on to Pauline, then Terrence. Then we'll have kind of Q&A at the very end. I feel like, if possible, if we take more than 1 hour, please forgive us. But I think this is a very important thing to start with, especially as we start the year, so that we can have more community builders, people joining that community, and also continuing to kind of enjoy the benefits of it, and also just sharing about cloud in general. So happy New Year to all of you guys, and yeah, we'll begin in a few. Let me just drag back my tab here, then stop sharing my screen. Admit a few people here. Great. Kevin, I don't know if you're here. I've seen Kevin here. I don't know. Ah, there you are. I can see you. Can you hear us, Kevin?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Or
we
should
can
I
hear
change
you. I
the
can hear you.
microphone?
I'll just pin you
Okay.
spotlight for everyone. Then now you can start. Yeah. Karibu. Hope you had you enjoyed your December. I think you did. But yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mark, Adeline, and Tony, and the leadership for AWS User Group Kenya for this invite, together with amazing colleagues that is Pauline and Terence. So just to start you off, just to get an idea, I could see some questions coming through, and feel free to also drop them there. I believe there's going to be a live Q&A at the end. So for the AWS Community Builder program, people usually think that you have to be an expert of sorts, and I'll still use my story along the way. So don't expect some tight-knit definitions. There's usually Google for that and GPT. So what I can tell you is, for my case, how I joined is I was creating content. I didn't even know about the program itself. So what I was doing is I was educating people on AWS, especially people didn't know about it. I was actually doing it back in back in 2020. So I don't know, there's someone who is can mute so that, yeah, good, awesome. So as I was saying is, back in 2019, I discovered about AWS back in 2019 during COVID. And after that, I realized the best way to learn is to teach. So I started creating some content, and the best way to obviously have it immortalized is on YouTube. And when I saw the program, like being advertised, people on LinkedIn sharing about it, so let me try it. And thankfully, I know so many people get to join on the second try. For myself, I joined on the first try, maybe because I had created a number of different content that was technical. And the most important thing that people miss a lot about this program, and that is why I think I was telling some people, it is one of the most coveted ones. 13% acceptance rate, over 3,000 plus applications, only 400 join almost every year. It shows you that people really want to join it. And it doesn't matter whether you're joining for the perks, the credits, the premium access, the certification vouchers, all those, or you're joining because you want to network with the largest community of cloud that I can think of. You have AWS heroes, SMEs, you have user group leaders there, you have even the AWS product teams. I remember one time I actually got the opportunity to work with Doug Lawson, the product manager for Amazon Code Catalyst when it was starting out. And they were giving us credits to try out the service and also give feedback and create content. And up until now, I think that one video that I created was one thing I'm so proud of, on how to create a React application using Code Catalyst. So what does that tell you is the Community Builders program is where like cloud developers, people who are in the business come together and share knowledge. They create content, share this knowledge, and then again also get opportunities to attend different sessions. For example, usually NDA sessions where you get to know about certain services before they are released to the world, things around reInvent launches, even before reInvent starts. A lot of perks that come with it, that come in terms of getting into the Community Builders program. Then again, that is the beauty of when you're inside. But what about when you're outside and wanting to get inside? And what I can tell you is, having joined the Community Builders in 2022, third year, if on February I also get renewed, this will be my fourth year, is you never stop. Like once you're in, it's easier to stay in. It's you creating content because you're there, you're already in. You don't have to worry. The hardest part is to get in, and every year there's a lot of interest in the program. So what I can advise you for those kind of what I can advise you for everything that you're doing in terms of the application, make sure that you are communicating you're portraying yourself as a technical builder. I know it's good that you can organize maybe events like math, or you can talk about soft skills and all these different things. But for the AWS Community Builder program, that doesn't matter. What matters is technical content. And I believe it's like 2 pieces, Mark, that is 2 pieces of technical content that are required. And the other thing that there's a very big misconception about that content. People think that you have to make an amazing GitHub repo or a good article that has amazing reads on maybe Dev or Hashnode or Medium. Usually, that is usually not the case. For myself, when I applied, I gave 2 YouTube videos. And actually, it was not like those videos that have gone viral. It was just about me sharing about cloud foundations. That was part of me being an educator in AWS Academy back then. And I didn't know that that was more than enough, because the people do the selection. They have over 3,000 applications, and they review them one by one. So they don't have a lot of time to watch like the whole content. They don't have time to read your whole article. They're able to just look at, do you check the marks? Are you really impactful? Then again, don't create content that is just like a lab guide or just like a copy paste from wherever, especially in this age of AI generation. So unless there's anything, I think I'll give this opportunity to our next speakers, and obviously we're going to be having questions as you move on. And what I can tell you is we have a lot of people who are, I don't know how many, I didn't get a number, Mark. How many Kenyans? I think there's so many Kenyans who are AWS community builders. So don't wait and say, I have to be famous. I have to have like 7,000 followers on LinkedIn like Kevin so that I can become. No, like when I was starting out, I was a nobody, nobody knew me. So, and thanks to you, that when you get in, you don't count the years start counting. Like you just don't even keep track. The packs keep on coming, and you don't have to worry about many different things about your cloud career journey. Thank you. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Kevin. Maybe add one question before we go on to Pauline. And I think if you have any questions, we'll do a Q&A at the very end, but you can also put them on the chat. But maybe which track did you join for the AWS Community Builder program?
Oh yeah, I joined the Dev Tools track. Yeah, I joined the developer tools. So things around the pipeline, things around, that's why I was using Code Catalyst. Anything that helps a developer work better or use AWS better or deploy their solutions and workloads better on AWS. So that is where I joined.
Okay, and the other question is, how long did it take you to do the application at that point? I don't know if it's now longer now, or is it shorter? Or how long?
Yeah.
Did it take you like a day or 2?
Okay, the first time it didn't take me like an hour, and every year during renewals, I think it's pretty straightforward in terms of the content that you have created and what have you been doing. So, but for the first time, I don't know whether I realized that these days you have to log in with a builder ID, I think, or some verification. And I saw some people already share screenshots on LinkedIn that they've completed the application. But I believe right now there are other checks and balances. And one thing that I think Jason Dan mentioned was, please don't try to game the system. It doesn't make sense for you to start creating content on the 18th, 2 pieces of content, and the deadline was on 20th, and then you submit those pieces of content. We'll know that, okay, they will know that, and everyone will know that you are trying to game the system, or you're just doing it for the acceptance. So it means that at least articles that you did back in December, or maybe content that you created back in the year, that will make a lot of sense. And if you haven't done it, don't worry. The year flies past, and back January, start working, because you know what is required, and then you can put in the best foot forward rather than trying to just game the system.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I think Pauline is here. Guys, if you have any questions, put them on the chat or just hold them to the very end. Pauline, are you with us?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, yes. Happy New Year to you. I'm trying to find you because there are a lot of people here. There, I can see you now. Let me spotlight you. Just give me a minute. Okay. There you are. Hi, Pauline. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. Happy to have you here today. I think you have the floor. Um, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So, hi everyone. Happy New Year. I hope you are all doing well. I'm actually excited to be here with you today. So, just a background about myself. I am an authorized instructor, AWS Authorized, and I'm also an active AWS Community Builder. I think that always comes as part of, me presenting myself because I am proud to be a AWS Community Builder, and that is basically part of me. So, a little background, I've been fortunate enough to work as a technical trainer, mentoring people who are getting started with their AWS journey, and also part of organizations who are looking to move to the cloud. Beyond that, which is basically part of my work, I enjoy creating content. So I have a YouTube channel I'll share with you, and you'll see the type of content I create over there. Yeah, and I love learning. I'm an advocate for continuous learning. Yeah, so if I'd share like my experience or my journey as an AWS community builder, I think being an AWS community builder, I became one in 2023. So Kevin was lucky, like he got accepted in the first time. Yeah, I'm one of those people who applied prematurely. I think around maybe 2022, early 2022, and I had just started my cloud journey in 2021. So it was that time where I had just certified as a cloud practitioner and I was trying to get in. I didn't know much about content creation, so I didn't have anything to show. And yeah, of course, I got rejected. Yeah, but we tried again. Yeah, once like I got the hang of it, what you're supposed to do, worked on some content. Yeah, it was bad. I wouldn't show you that content. But yeah, it kind of got me in it around 2023 actually, because I skipped 2022. Yeah, joined in 2023. So the experience has been amazing. Once I got in, I think my best thing about the community is just that networking capability. You have like a bigger community you can reach out to at any point in time, help you solve problems, learn a lot about the cloud and also other things you might want to know. So if I go about maybe for those who are looking to apply about the application process, if you have already tried, you'll see like you'll be asked some things about your background, your contributions to the community, and your goals actually. Why do you want to join the program? So I think you should focus more on your unique contributions, as Kevin mentioned. So any blogs you have written, any technical content you have created, any tutorials and so on. And then I think the enthusiasm matters. I feel like my first application was just blunt, Yeah, I just want to join because I started learning AWS and it's good. Yeah, don't do that. Show enthusiasm, like be authentic, be enthusiastic, and just show passion over any perfection. I believe my application, yeah, as I mentioned, my content, I wouldn't want anyone to see it right now, the one I used to apply. So it was like so blunt. But yeah, I think I focused more on showing like my genuine passion and the goal I see like after joining the program. So what I want to contribute past just the little like two contents I had already created to join the program, and then show impact, what you have done. Mention your impact, even beyond the articles and so on. You can use numbers if possible in that manner. So I think one way to make some ways to make your application stand out in this case, be at least more specific, give numbers, percentages, you have mentored this number of people and so on. Focus on actually the impact you have also created to the AWS community. Is there any way you have contributed to others' learning journey, which is basically part of why the AWS community program is there. And then again, the growth mindset, I think it's important. You can mention your learning process for those who are saying, do I have to be so technical? No. Even if you are at the beginner level, just mention how you continue to grow and what impact you might want to create for the community. So yeah, for me, I think joining the AWS Community Builders is just more than a title. It's about joining this awesome community, and there is always continuous learning in that manner. The moment you write content or you create videos, I feel like you learn more and you understand things better. So there is that aspect, and also just sharing knowledge, and yeah, whatever content you're creating might reach, even if it's one people, you always get that aspect that just someone DMs you and they was like, oh, I was struggling with this part and your content really made it so understanding. Even if it's just one person, it feels nice. Yeah. So yeah, if you're passionate about AWS, but also eager to make a difference, basically, if wherever you are in your cloud journey. So I think there is a place for everyone in the program. Just start small and get in. Yeah. So I think that's about it. Yeah. Kevin
Yeah.
has mentioned majority of it.
Thank you. So
Mhm.
maybe Pauline, my question is, I think you mentioned that you did some content, right? So maybe
Yeah.
you don't want to talk about, you don't want to share what content it was at that point, right? But maybe
Yeah.
take us through. Did you post it on LinkedIn? Did you post it on Twitter, on Medium? And yeah, where did you
Okay.
post it? Yeah.
Yeah. So my first content, I posted it on Dev2. Yeah, there is that tool. I actually saw a friend who joined before, so gave me advice and told me they posted there. So I went through their content, see how they structured their content. And yeah, it was just a very simple blog on AWS networking. Very simple, like VPC, the fundamental. Because yeah, I didn't know, I wasn't that experienced at the time. Yeah, and basically that got me into the networking and content delivery domain. I did not mention that. Yeah. So that was it.
And maybe,
Dev2.
at that point, you said you were not quite technical at that point, but I think you're kind of getting into it essentially. So
Yeah.
as people have asked, do you have to be that technical to get into it, or can you at least show enthusiasm into cloud or AWS to kind of get into the program as such?
I don't believe you have to be that technical into it, because I wasn't. Yeah. So yeah, you will basically grow in it. You'll grow in it once like you get in, but the little you know, just use that knowledge. Yeah, I think right now it's even worse now that we have the chat GPT and everything. You look for the most technical content out there, and it wouldn't even look authentic. So I'll just say whatever little knowledge you have, even if it's like a beginner level, create using that, and now boost your application with showing how you want to grow and how you will contribute later on. So those aspects of what is your goal for joining, there are those questions you'll be asked. Why do you want to be a community builder? I think if you show more enthusiasm in that, even if the technical content you're not that intermediate or advanced level, you're gonna ace it. Yeah.
Last question as I bring in Terence, right? So you got into the community builder program, and now you're doing a lot of content towards video format, and it's quite straining to sort of not straining, but it takes a lot to do a whole YouTube video is a lot. So how did you kind of get into it? Right, I'm quite curious. How did you get into making YouTube videos and kind of really explaining, like for instance, networking, I&M policies, and stuff like that. And then I think Terence will come in after that.
Awesome. So weirdly enough, this was kind of inspired by the AWS community team. So we had like a workshop here in Kenya, and we're talking about content creation, because even though you create content, I didn't feel like I was good enough or understood how to go about it. So the aspect of the community, seeing what the community is doing and getting those workshops through the AWS Community Builders team has like inspired me to create more content. For me, I am a trainer. That is what I do. So I realized I do better when explaining things through video format than writing content down. So that is just how I decided, okay, I would ace it when I create video content compared to writing technical content. So it takes a lot of time, but because it's my passion, I think maybe sometimes I slow down and then sometimes I pick up, but I think it's more of my passion and what I do on a daily basis that pushes me to create that video content. And yes, it takes some time.
Okay, great. Thank you. I see someone had asked a question. What are some of the benefits of the AWS Community Builder program? Actually, if you saw what Kevin was wearing on the call, I think he was already wearing a t-shirt for, also Pauline has that. So there are a few perks to it, but essentially it's more about the networking part and also just really learning, growing your journey into AWS. I saved the kind of the best for last, so to speak. But Terence, I think, would be really amazing in terms of just kind of explaining the Community Builder program and how it is. I don't know if he's. I'm trying to find him on my Zoom. Terence, are you there? Are you with us? I'm trying to find him.
Yes, Mark, I am with you. I think if I'm allowed to share, I will have a small presentation I made for you people, but the most important thing is, hey, tell your story, tell your authentic story. So
Can you try
it's
and share
on me.
and see
So
if it can work?
let me try and share. We see if it works, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, there, share. Okay, my good people, am I sharing?
Yes. I think, yeah. Also, I've
Excellent.
seen as Terence starts, I'm seeing William. William is also here, Mukoyadi, who's also an AWS Community Builder. He's already kind of handling some of the questions there. So I think, William, I'll ask you to say something at some point at the very end. So Terence, you can start, then we go on from there.
Okay, I opted to make you a small slide deck, but what I can say is just uniquely tell your story. It's your story. It does not matter how big a contribution is or how small a contribution is. And then the other thing I want to talk about is don't go put wishy-washy work out there. Mark has told us it's 2 days, then you no, it won't work. That you'll be thrown out. You'll be thrown out so fast. And I think another thing I'm thinking is as years go, it becomes tougher to get in because many more people know about the program, many more people are interested. So I'm thinking that every year we are having very, 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 very good candidates. So it's not a testament to you being bad. It's just that on that day you are competing with the big boys and the big girls on the day you put in your application. So there's always another year. And also a good thing about these communities, people are open. I mean, there are people whom have read their applications year in, year out. And I think there's somebody who even made it from here, Kenya, after 3 years of applying consecutively. You'll always get what you want. I mean, the universe will always conspire to give you what you want. But back to me and my small unique story. My name is Terence Chibire, and I'm a cloud technology trainer. So essentially, I'm engaged in knowledge transfer. I'm engaged in skills development. I'm engaged in employability. Knowledge transfer and skills development, some people who've worked with me, they know that is our bread and butter. We are teachers. But there's an issue I feel strongly about and I work hard on, which is employability. The people whom we've trained, the people whom we've certified. For me, it is an anticlimax if anytime I meet a lot of them and they don't have jobs, I don't feel good. But when I see them, they're getting promoted. When I see them, they're getting work placements, I'm happy. So that is the niche area that I've chosen to concentrate most of my effort. Employability of our technology talents. So how did I get started? In 2021, I got a 3-year contract at a corporation called Azubi Africa, and I joined them as a Restart, AWS Restart program, which is very popular worldwide. I joined them as a Restart trainer.
and I grew. And how did I get to the position of becoming a community builder? The same 2021, I'd previously been working at Digital Divide Data, a company that was previously a Kenyan AWS partner. And the person who told me about the program is Kevin Waithaka. I think some of you know him. He's a community builder from Kenya, but he lives he lives and works in Germany. Since we had worked with him at Digital Divide Data, he told me, hey, Chibire, this thing is interesting, blah, 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 apply. And you know what? I took the time and I just wrote my unique story. And on first application, 2021, I was admitted into the program, and I've ever since renewed. This is, I'm a year 4 community builder. And I'm working on renewing for year 5. I'm working on renewing for year 5 because there's a lot of things I'm doing that I think still fit in with the scheme of things where the program is concerned. So can you see, I have my own unique story. Yes, William is a technical trainer. Terence is a technical trainer. Pauline is a technical trainer. But everybody has got his own story. It does not mean that only technical trainers join. Mark is not a technical trainer. I think he's a developer. And so on and so forth. I think Adeline is also a developer. She's not a technical trainer, but she's the program. So that's why I'm insisting, just tell your unique story. So there was a beautiful word used by Pauline, and the word is impact. One thing I want to think is, if you're a selfish person, I mean selfish in quotes, that is, you like keeping to yourself and doing your own stuff, and even you do content for yourself, it might not cut it. It might be small content. Maybe you're having imposter syndrome and you think, just put it somewhere there on LinkedIn. Some people will correct you where you went wrong. Some people will find benefit and they'll tell you you are on the right track. So what type of impact do I think I've had? And maybe I highlighted within those 4 years I've been a community builder. The first year, I easily said that I scaled a program that was only teaching 30 people in Ghana to a Pan-African level. And now it extended beyond Ghana to Kenya, to Rwanda, to Senegal, I think Ethiopia, Congo, Brazzaville, and even some other diaspora countries, because I was the lead of that particular academy. That is what maybe I harped on a lot. Then things got better. Like 2022, I was lucky to attend reInvent as a grant recipient. That is one of the big benefits in there. But I made a lot of connections, and even before going there, we had already done, we had already done reInvent Recap. And reInvent Recap 2022 was our first in-person one. I worked very closely with the moderators. I think that was year 1 for Adeline as moderator for Kenya. And we were together with the Kisiangani. And I think we successfully brought Veliswa into the country. So the mixture of attending reInvent, receiving the grant, which is competitively given, plus having done the reInvent recap and even promising to do the 2023 one, I felt that was the impact I attained in 2022. 2023, I moved into what I would call corporate training. And I think the likes of William, whom I had worked with previously, we intensely did things like AAI, but I was also intensely involved in ensuring the corporation attains its capacity and status to stretch its training into the corporate field. We nailed it, and I felt that was adequate impact. And 2024 last year, and we will talk about it, is I was helping the moderators and working with other community builders and a host of very many good well-wishers in form of volunteers, and we set up the AWS Community Day Kenya, which I think many of you attended. So the other question is, what am I thinking about year 5? Year 5, I may renew, but based on some of work I'd been doing in Q4 last year, I'm thinking year 5 for me is a breakthrough I need to make into AI ML. Everywhere I'm going is AI ML. I would also like to get the hang of it. So that will be part of the things I'll be talking about in my renewal. So impact.
Are you willing to share? Are you willing to collaborate with others? Are you willing to upskill others? And so on and so forth. But I'll still talk about impact, especially from another angle, which some of you underestimate, and yet it's a very big deal within that program, and that will be inclusion. I'll talk about it later before I wind up. So the story in pictures is my former employer, Azubi Africa, and AWS Restart were critical to enabling me to do what? Attain the impact I was able to attain on the globe as well as on the continent. These are just some of the countries where I know there are learners whom, with the team I worked with, we were able to transfer knowledge to, develop their skills, and just enable them start a journey into their tech careers. I'm a strong believer in Africanicity, and we say it takes a village. In Africa, we say it takes a village. And in the modern day world, when I say it takes a village, I mean there are stakeholders. There are stakeholders you need to work with if you are going to attain impact. So you have to be willing to collaborate. You have to be willing to share. Just like an African village would not survive without the contribution of everybody, same. Don't take your journey into technology or your journey into the community builders or in any space as something that is uniquely yours and will not benefit from the contribution of others. Yes, give and also take. And that's why I say it takes a village. And let me give an example of what it takes a village. I think here we were in 2022 at an AWS conference. Some of the people here are your usual suspects, some people whom you know very well. And for me, these are the stakeholders and these are the villagers I'm talking about. Some of them are now engineers in their own rights. Some are product managers, some are technical trainers. I can see the country lead for Silicon, that is Eric Odipo. When I say it takes a village, it means that you have to be able to work with these stakeholders in what you do. I'm not saying it's a must, but I'm saying in many of these things you're going to do, including your AWS Community Builder application, I think it is team sport. It's not boxing, it's soccer. So there is Mark, he might contribute something to you. Like let's say, if Mark gave you an opportunity last year to be a volunteer in the community day, he's a stakeholder who is invested in your development, and you will mention that in your application. I was a volunteer at the AWS Community Day. So we all did one thing or another, and it takes a village. And for me, the stakeholders are the village. And later on, again, you'll see them. I'll talk about them in how this is just the AWS Kenya Education Conference 2022. But you are in touch with them. You maintain relationships with them. They help you grow as they are also growing. You give as much as you take from them. I was a grant recipient 2022. I really enjoyed the entire experience. It was a beautiful experience. And it broadened my networks and my contacts and the people I know inside and outside AWS. So I would say it's like you joining the community builders is a golden opportunity for you to grow, for you to develop, for you to expand your networks and be able to be really the best version of whom you can ever be in your tech journey. So I'll talk about reInvent a little bit because it was also an interesting point in my life. And in my case, this is reInvent 2022, although I know much later on, Adeline and Mark and Tony will set up for us the reInvent recap for 2024. And I'm happy the likes of Kevin were there. So look at this. This is 2022 January. What I was talking about. We were able to bring Velizwa for our first in-person. You know, we were just getting out of the COVID. So there's Velizwa. She was our guest of honor. And look here. This individual here, our friend Kevin Waithaka, he was the person I used to work with at Digital Divide Data and who told me about the Community Builders program. I can remember right now we have Samuel Kisiangani. I think he works at AWS. And I think, Adeline, you're here. I think this was your first year as a community, I mean, not as a community builder, but your first year as, as a moderator for the user group. And kudos to you for having grown the community from less than 100 people to today. I'm willing to bet we are more than 3,000 strong. So that is impact. Those are the things you'll be mentioning in your journey as you share all this. Then that was January 2022, but later on, okay, there's Jason Dunn when he hosted us for a dinner at reInvent later on that year in November. And for me, the circle had come full, I mean, the journey had come full circle at this point in time. And many interesting things happened. Things like, this was one of the best receptions I enjoyed attending. It was, it belonged to Aviatrix. But look here, we meet again. Kevin was also there, but he had come from Germany. And I think you guys know this guy. He's very popular on, He's very popular on, what do we call it, on LinkedIn. He's a cloud guru, Eugene Liang. He's very well known. I mean, very many people talk to him. He's a mentor to many, a coach to many. So you can imagine how on top of the world Kevin and I were to meet our hero or our, I mean, somebody whom we really look up to. But the thing is, what enabled that for me, or what enabled that for Kevin and the rest of us who are here on the Aviatrix reception, the grant, and the Community Builders program. I'm willing to bet later on during the recap, also our good friend Kevin will tell you a lot of good stories of what benefits he's gotten. So it's not all about you giving. There's also a lot of receiving. So that was my second last day in Las Vegas after the reInvent. But talking about, let's say, 2023, or let's say this 2024, 2024 renewal for last year. One thing that I prominently talked about was, there was this launch we attended. Yes, I'm a technical trainer. Yes, some of the impact I've been involved in is well known to the AWS community and even AWS as a corporation. I was happy to attend this launch, and my invite came with 4 invites for my former learners, students whom I had taught. And that's why I say it takes a community. And on that day, we were at Riverside, we were there. The president indeed launched the AWS office in Kenya. And your very own Adeline also gave a speech on that day at that event, which is a very beautiful thing. And that's also a testament to impact. And I think even in my application for 2024, I openly talked about it. But there we are at that launch after it had ended, and a photo obsession. Can you see? We have been with the community in 2021, 2022, 2023, but don't you have a feeling that it's there? Is it, can I say, Mark, can I say it's the same suspects? So to speak, in quotes. The thing is, we are always collaborating. We are always working together. We are always doing something together. Then let me tell you an interesting thing that happened at the luncheon. After this picture, we were taken to the next floor up there for the luncheon. And at the luncheon, I think what we did was, a number of the people who were here had attended the AWS Johannesburg Summit. Then we just decided to dump a crazy idea on Adeline. We said we want her to do for us in 2024, AWS Summit, maybe Kenya, Eastern Africa, blah, 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 etc. Just like that when we were having lunch. And indeed it happened. The next slide, I think many of you attended this community day. And I'm saying the genesis of that community day was a discussion at lunchtime at Riverside in 2023. Impact. So you can uniquely tell your own story. Nobody should own your story. Own your story, tell it, and tell it to the best of your God-given capacity. So come the following year from that particular luncheon at Riverside, we had done something that was even beyond us. We were tired, I can tell you. On this day, I think all of us were tired. All of us were really, but on the other hand, we were happy. We had attained what we wanted to attain. You can see PS, Ministry of ICT Kenya is there. You can see Dr. Amina from Uganda, PS ICT there, even Robin Jiru, regional lead Sub-Saharan Africa is there, and very many other important people like the DVC at KCA. For us, it was a high point, and that's impact. It's impact. Those are the stories you should be telling. Some of you were even here at that event as volunteers. And I know Mark, Adeline, and Tony gave you volunteer letters. That is something I remember we pushed hard to ensure you get. Mention what your role was. It does not mean you had to be the chairman of this or the lead of that. But even that small contribution you made as a volunteer at the Community Day 2024 made that event a success, and you are very much part of that success, and you own your own story within that particular event. So still another peak from that particular event. And now I want to turn my attention to something else that some of you have, but sometimes you ignore it, yet it's very important. Before working with AWS and before working with Azubi, I knew nothing about inclusion. I learned all this DEI stuff, that is diversity, equity, and inclusion when I was working at Azubi, and more so when Azubi was interfacing with AWS. Guys, that is a secret superpower you need to add onto your application. For me, it was easy. The DEI and inclusion agenda was already spelled out for me in the company I was working in. We used to give special consideration to women in IT, so special quotas for the female learners. We used to also give special quotas to persons living with disabilities in our corporation. And the last DEI and inclusion learner segment that I taught and I really loved was the refugee learners. So before I left, we did a lot of work. And I think Pauline Jr. was very, very, very key in all this. Pauline is here with us. And we did a lot of that. Now, what am I doing for DEI 2025? At this point in time, I think there is some stakeholders we are working with who are working with street children and ensuring that in this technology journey and advanced high tech, the direction it's going, that even the street children are not left behind. So there are some trainings that might be coming on for organizations that minister to the needs of street children. So you see, for 2025, when I'm renewing, most likely I'll easily talk about, if that will have materialized, I'll easily talk about, okay, on inclusion, I was also doing this and doing that. So I want you to know that DEI is very important. And even that grant, the AWS World Builders Welcome Grant, is very DEI oriented. It's a diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda, which is very important to some of these corporations, AWS included. I think when they see that in your application, I'm not saying you go cook up things, but when they see your genuine story and how you've contributed to such things like diversity, equity, and inclusion, they are happy. They are happy because they can see you are not just all about yourself, but you're also all about communities. And you're not all about communities and people who are like you, but you're also about people who are marginalized, people who do not have the normal opportunity that other normal, ordinary people have. So this was the first class I taught, and I think Pauline Jr. knows these people because this is Dadaab. I mean, not this is Kakuma refugee camp. And you can see back then, Marine was the head of Restart. And here I'm having the other two people. These ones are bosses of the Danish Refugee Council, which was funding that training for these refugees. The others are, these are Danish Refugee Council person, but the others are the learners. Yours truly is hiding behind there. So talk about what you've also done for, I saw like there's somebody I met at where is it? At reInvent, a very interesting lady from the Congo, but she's based in the US. And she writes storybooks for children. She's a computer scientist with even a PhD. She writes storybooks for children that explain something like, for kindergarten kids in the US, it explains what is cloud computing to children, as such that your little children should know what it is and how are they interfacing with it on a daily basis. But you cannot write it in impossible jargon. You must break it down to the level that, let's say, my 8-year-old daughter. And you see, that's a very niche area. How many people do you know who are writing storybooks for children about the cloud? So do you think AWS will ever let her go? I think she's called Shelika. I met her. Do you think AWS will ever let her go? No, they love her because she's doing something super unique and it's ministering to a very niche and unique aspect of our demography. So those are the things you should think about. Just think about it. Who are you uniquely, and what are you contributing? And let me tell you, what Mark contributes is totally different from what Terence Chibire contributes. It's totally different from what Adeline contributes. We are as diverse as the 5 fingers on my hand. They're different sizes, but tell your own unique story. And the other thing is, we'll still encourage, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to do work and come back next year. Come back next year to apply with a better, stronger application. It has happened. I've seen it, even people apply 1, 2, 3. I think there are some year one CBs whom I know in Kenya who had applied 4 or 5 different times, and eventually they made it. It's not a testament to you being bad. It's just that every year we are getting better and better applicants, and the competition is cutthroat and very tight. So ensure that you are submitting something substantial, something strong, something that really represents the best version of who you are. If you need one more year, yes, take that year and keep on growing. It happened. I remember one learner in Ghana, and she's what is it? She's a community builder in Ghana, Telma. Telma, when she first approached me in 2022, I told her, but you don't have any content. Let's spend the whole of 2023. I mean, that whole year. Let us spend writing it out. And we wrote it. And when she applied her first time, she made it. So always put in a strong application. It's not do or die. It's just you're going to join a very interesting community. And the other thing that I heard somebody talk about, the benefits, there are a lot, tons and tons, from the grant, and also tons of swag. You can even see the flask that carries my tea here on my study table is also a community builder one, and so on and so forth. Plus my mug and etc, everything, my water bottles, AWS etc. There's a lot. But remember, it's about what are you giving the community? So what about, so think about your impact, think about what you're bringing into the community, but always remember your unique story. You are unique. You are totally different from any other person who's applying. And the best person to tell your story is you, not ChatGPT, not copy paste from online. It's you. If you try all that, they'll find you out. So if we need to wait for another year, no problem. I think, Mark, with those so many remarks, I would like to stop here. Never give the microphone to a teacher, a pastor, and a politician. They'll talk endlessly, then say with those few remarks, I need to stop here.
No worries. Thank you very much. That's been very helpful. And I think just as a follow-up question, I think you mentioned something about people contributing in very unique ways. So maybe the question is, especially people who maybe not writers as much, but maybe attend events, speak at events, and maybe just do a lot of more public speaking and all those things. So how can they kind of justify that? Okay, I did a public speaking at maybe Kasarani Primary School about cloud, or maybe at KCA University. So how can they kind of prove that concept? Yeah.
I've also, since I'm somebody who is in the knowledge transfer side, I lean more on that side. Like, for example, Q4 last year, we did a boot camp for a new community we had set up, the Ugandan community. So I said, okay, I could say we did a cloud practitioner boot camp for them. But away from that, there are times when I've had some very prominent speaking opportunities. For example, in 2022, there I was showing you a slide of where, on the slide I was showing you when we attended the AWS Kenya Education Conference. I was a panelist. Those are things you must prepare. You just don't jump out of bed and go to sit on a panel. So since it was a big meeting that belongs to AWS and Ministry of Education, and I was a panelist, of course, I told them we were speaking about this. I was one of the panelists, and I gave blah, 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 blah. Yes, you can mention that. Or 2023, July, I was on a big panel on a program that has got massive impact. I think that particular network...
Coaches left.
That network, there's somebody who will affect we can mute. That particular program on a TV, I think it is CBS, is it CBS South Africa News? I was on a particular panel and we were talking a lot of this that we discussed, and also technology and its role and the marginalized. It was a discussion especially on more of the marginalized learners in the continent. So since it is a big TV network, and I was on a panel discussion, and this is a network that has got a reach of like 500 million people around the world, that was no joke. So I easily said, okay, I was on this panel, etc. This was my role on this panel, and we were discussing this, and I talked about this, and what our contribution as a corporation and the team I work with is. So you see, those are things that really put you on the pedestal and really also present you in a very different light compared. It really helps differentiate you to the other people. And also, it can be even as simple as you are a moderator, Mark. You have facilitated this. It is well known. It's there on LinkedIn. It's there online. Everybody knows this is going on. This is bonga points to you and the other moderators, isn't that so? You mentioned we did this and we were able to bring these moderators, we were able to bring these community builders, we were able to bring this community, our community, which we have grown from less than 100 people in 2020 to more than 3,000 people in 2025, just to illustrate the impact aspect of it.
Yeah, so part of that, Terence is very active on LinkedIn. He's always posting and he's always quite consistent with that. So that's also part of what you can be able to do. So I don't know if people have any questions. If you have any question, you can either raise your hand, then unmute, or just post them in the chat. But before that, I think, let me see. Pauline, I think, is still here, and Kevin. One of the questions I actually had, at least about the Community Builder program and what they've seen so far. I don't know, at least for you guys, Pauline, Kevin, maybe I'll start with Pauline. With the different people or community builders that you've seen, have you seen people either contributing their knowledge about AWS, maybe through YouTube, blogs, or whatever else? So maybe what are the diverse ways or unique ways you've seen people just posting about AWS? That's kind of interesting. I'll start with Pauline, then I think Kevin, then we can finish with Terence. Then if you have any questions, you can just put them on the chat, then we can go on.
Okay, yeah, so I think you've mentioned the major ones, so technical content through writing, but some of the really interesting things I've seen, TikTok, these short form videos, and they're explaining cloud through TikTok or just some interesting topics. So that is something I have noticed. And also, even if it's not the long instructional videos on YouTube, I've seen people create content on just maybe, for example, how do you compare one service to another? So those short form videos are still contributing. And the other one, speaking especially at events. So when you organize AWS events, I see lots of community builders actually becoming speakers on those events and contributing in that way. So I think I'll mention that.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Then someone has raised the hand, but I don't know. Is it Dennis? I think Dennis did. So Dennis, you'll ask the question once Terence has spoken, then we can go on from there. I see we are past time, but do forgive us. Give us another 15, then I think we'll close. Kevin.
Okay, sure. Confirm that you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Awesome. I was just, when Terence showed his mug, as I also answer your question, I just realized that on my desk, I think AWS Community Builder takes everything. For example, like when I went to reInvent, got this amazing notebook, got I don't know what these. I think these were a bag, and they also got another bag last year. So crazy stuff. So like they usually just take the day every year. And just to answer you, the other thing that I've seen unique and you need to do if you want to become a community builder is don't shy away to speak in other AWS user groups. This is not only in Kenya. I spoke for the very first time in AWS user group Japan, told Melissa about it on WhatsApp casually. Then the other day, she just told me, when I was given my week to post on the AWS news blog, I highlighted your story and like I was immortalized in the AWS news blog. And also AWS user group Yaounde, they had a 12-week AWS workshop started last year. And amazing stuff, did it for around 12 weeks. went there, didn't take a back seat, helped Chiche to organize it and make it a success, worked with people like Prasad and made it amazing. So what I can tell you is just always be on the lookout. Also remember that there is spoke in AWS user group Zimbabwe, Kigali, many others. So just make sure you have that kind of a global kind of an outlook. And also when given an opportunity, pester Mark, pester Adeline, say you have something that you can share. I know they are not limited in terms of the number of events they can do in a quarter. They can do as many. So if you have something that you can share with the community, don't wait and say that is for I have to go through who and who. Reach them directly. They are very reachable, and you'll get that opportunity. Those are my unique ways.
Terence, then I think we can go to Daniel. Sorry, not Dennis, yeah? Daniel, yeah. Terence, you can go.
So, essentially, I can say that for some people who've taken this what's happening here very seriously, they even ended up resigning from their jobs. I've seen people who maybe were just community builders and they were doing something very serious. I think the one person whom I ever got in touch with is a community builder, but now she's also an AWS hero. She really gave me a lot of guidance when I went to Las Vegas in 2022. I think you all know Lucy Wang. She's very popular on LinkedIn. She's big enough to even resign from AWS and do this thing full time. So, like, let me ask you, let me tell you, like, how I interacted with her was, one, I would like to meet you at Las Vegas. But two, it was like, can you advise me how to structure how my time will be spent there? Because I can tell you the place is another thing. I mean, Kevin will soon be telling you the recap. It's just another thing. I mean, so it was as easy as, I'm not coming, sorry, we will not meet, but go to my blog on this particular article. She changed my experience of reInvent because it's a very big and very overwhelming. But look, this is somebody who's even resigned from AWS, has got a YouTube. I mean, that YouTube has grown into a big community and a business and a blog and etc. So what I'm saying is, it may have begun as a joke, and now it's a full-blown and full-fledged enterprise for certain people. And maybe, yeah, you may start it as a hobby, but you never know where it will take you. And that was just one unique person that I know. And she was not doing a lot of complicated things. A lot of work she was doing back then was work like helping as many people as possible get through the certified cloud practitioner level and then set themselves on a technology journey. And for me, whenever I looked at what she was doing, I was amazed at the type of growth she was attaining daily. Right now, she's not only an AWS hero, but she's set up herself as an enterprise, and she employs, she has tech leads who are leading different aspects of whatever it is she's doing. Yet imagine, it's something that began as simple as becoming a community builder while was, an AWS employee, and then later on you resign or something of that kind, and to concentrate, because whatever you are doing has now become overwhelmingly too much. You cannot do both jobs.
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you very much for that. I think we'll start with Daniel. I think if you can unmute and ask your question, then we have the next gentleman, I think Felix, I think. So Daniel, you can ask your question.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. First and foremost, asanteni sana. I think me have really benefited. I realize I may not be ready to apply, but thank you for the sharing. But I think the focus of my question would be, especially from Terrence's sharing, that mulifanya, as in like munafanya kazi pamoja, the workshops, the opportunities. And I think for me, I'm quite new even to the user group. I think my question would be, how could we participate more? How would you guys communicate to maybe someone who would be interested in volunteering? Just getting to know you guys better, and how do we grow together so that with a view, not just in a year. I think my one takeaway I get is you guys have the passion and the reality, and then that speaks for you. Then you just put it on different platforms, because then that leads you into more AWS. I'm just thinking for myself, how do I participate more with you guys? And maybe you could share with us, anyone could share, but more from Terrence, like I felt like the boat has already left. So how do we catch you guys? Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I think I'm very open. Many people reach out to me on LinkedIn from far and wide. And I think it's, if I was never a community builder, I would never have known those people. Like right now, let me just let you know one of the biggest things that I struggle with in my work daily. Training and certifying learners is not an issue, but as I've told you, employability. Like last week, what was I discussing? I was with two different AWS partners. And what I was discussing with the leaders in those corporations was most of our learners are intelligent, most of our learners are well trained, most of our learners are well certified, but they just told me they find that these people have got very hopeless soft skills. These people interview badly. Another is intelligent person who should get the job because of having interviewed badly. It's not that the person does. So let's say, Daniel, if you're working at a place like you are maybe an engineer at where you are, I mean, if I got an opportunity for you to help me with what I would say, mock technical interviews for some of the learners I support, I would be happy, because it's very unfortunate for a very highly skilled person to go for an interview and fail get the job because there were those who are just like, hey, yo, Kizungu, or they were like, the guy is talking so much jargon and HR doesn't even understand half of what this person is saying, but they know he knows he knows his stuff. They're just uncomfortable with the guy and his language, his soft skills and his meta skills are not good. If I were to get engineers who are willing to collaborate with me and some of the collaborators I'm working with to help the younger learners to be able to ace these interviews better, I'm happy. That's just a niche area, like one of the things I'm doing. But there are many other things. You know, Mark will tell you a different thing, and so will Kevin and Pauline and any other person. But over to you, Junior and Kevin.
I guess Pauline can go next, then Kevin.
Yeah.
Or Kevin can go.
Definitely lady first. You know, Pauline, you know where we come from, so you better go first.
I was just hanging around, like Terence had mentioned, basically everything. I don't know what to add. Kevin, please come in. I give you permission.
Okay, I just to add on to what Terence has said is, first of all, is Mark, Adeline, Tony, any leader of any community, before you even go to them, don't go to them, you know, do you know I'm very good at this? Like they usually say, show, don't tell, right? The way I don't even remember how we found each other between me. It wasn't even formal between me and Mark and Adeline. I don't know how we got into the user group. And there was one time I think he told me, like, let's go and talk about AWS user group Kenya to the radios, like moving around every AWS user group. So what I can tell you is do your work and it will speak for itself. You will be talked about in rooms that you are not even present. They say, bring this guy. I think he can tell us something about that. So that's how I can tell you. Do your work in secret and post it, document it. Because right now, you're being told to post about something that you've done over the last 12 months. And you've been keeping it to yourself. You don't even have a LinkedIn post about it. You don't even have a connected Medium article on it. So where will you find your content? Or you say, yes, I did it in April, but I never documented it. If you document it now, we'll know you are faking it. So it doesn't matter whether just do it. When you do it, post it then. Post it 1 day later, 1 week later, but don't try to post it 1 year later. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Felix, you can go next. Yeah, then we'll kind of wrap up in the next 5 minutes or so. Oh, also Williams will talk at some point. So William, I think Felix will ask, then I'll let William just kind of say hi to us. He's also a community builder and also very active. So yeah. Felix, I'll assume it's Felix.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. So my name is Felix, and I have a question maybe regarding on how to create content on AWS. And I was thinking AWS is so wide, and I was asking for me, like I'm a certified cloud practitioner, in order to know like the journey I'm supposed to follow, maybe in order maybe to specialize in data and networking. I would like you guys to like guide a beginner on which path to know which path he is supposed like to specialize in. Maybe after a CCP, maybe go for solution architect or go for AI practitioner, or I would like to know like a path, because we have many paths and sometimes it's confusing. Yeah, that's my question.
So anyway, maybe I can jump in, Mark. What you're asking is more of a careers mentorship thing, and it still starts with you. What is your interest? You see, even we as community builders, it's not that we are all over doing everything. Pauline and myself share an interest group. The interest group we come from is the AWS networking and content delivery. So even as you've rightly said, AWS is the biggest public cloud out there with more than 200 services, but you don't even use all of them. You normally go use what is of interest to you and what serves your application or your soft solution best. Same thing. Now back to you, Felix, as an individual. You've studied cloud practitioner. Do you have a bias towards being a very business-oriented person? Or do you have a bias towards being what? A technical person? If you are a very technical person, it still does not end there. There are technical people who are doing infrastructure work. Let's say Pauline is into AWS networking, so she's more on the infrastructure side of things. Whereas you'll find Mark writes code, he might opt to do what? The developer operations, but more so maybe start from developer associate. Whereas you'll find another person who is on more of cloud engineering operations. And maybe that person will choose to do a systems operation administration associate thing. So, and of late, I think the recent years, I think the data scientists are having a field day. Every I've been going, it's AI, ML, AI, ML, AI, ML, until even Portfolio last year began studying AI, ML for the AI practitioner. Not that I want to become one, but hey, I need to know what's going on within that space. So what if you're a person from the data science side? Then maybe the data engineering associate or the machine learning associate will be more. So you see, it still goes back to you, Felix. What is it that is your interest? And where do you think this journey is taking you to? So those are, again, things that you need to think of from a career's mentoring perspective, and then make the appropriate choice.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else has any remarks on that, Kevin or William, before I invite William?
I just put mine on that.
Yeah.
Read, but just know that even in the community builder program, you get accepted into a particular category. You don't just go in there the way you want. There's a category that you join, so be consistent on your content. Yeah.
Yes. At this point, I'll ask William to kind of just give us, his insights a bit as you close off. We'll finish off with William, then closing remarks from the different speakers, then Adeline will kind of give us closing remarks. So, William, are you here?
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah. Hi, William. Yeah.
I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
I really appreciate the talk from Kevin, Terence, and Pauline. Quite insightful remarks from them. Kevin attended the event last year. Quite exciting experience from him. I saw him document it on TikTok, LinkedIn. It was quite exciting to see from his end. For someone who wants to be a community builder, I think Pauline shared that the first content they shared, it's something they can also share with the team as at now. Also, I also share the same story, Pauline. I think we're being advised by Adeline by that time to also become community builders, create content, push your content there. Even though we had experience also teaching as a AWS technical instructors, which also assisted us to be able to become community builders at that time. One thing I've learned is consistency. I did something I'm trying to pick from Kevin, the likes of Pauline. trying to adopt and just be consistent in everything that I'm doing, and being able to document that even the short things that you actually do, be able to document that, be able to showcase as part of what you're actually doing in the community. It will assist you a lot in becoming a community builder. That's all back from my end. Oh yeah, I posted one of my contents on Dev2. Yeah, so you can just look on Dev2. I usually post that.
Yes.
Thank you, Kevin.
So great. So as we finish off, Adeline, I think you can also come up on screen. Then we'll kind of finish off. I'll let the speakers have the last word. Maybe where to find you guys, if they want to reach out, and what you're looking forward to for the year. I guess any last remarks. I'll start with the lady. Pauline, you'll go. Then I think we can go to Kevin, then Terence, then we can take Adeline. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm on spot today. Cool. So my last remark, I think, will be just encouraging everyone to take the next step, whatever that step is. So some it might be now applying to the program. Others say they feel like they're not ready yet in terms of the content creation. So start that. And maybe it could be just engaging deeply with like the AWS community or so on. So just start your next step and, let's get connected. Let's build like a more connected and knowledgeable community. Yeah, about where to find me, I'll be sharing my LinkedIn and YouTube channel too. So check me out, in the chat. Thank you.
Kevin, you can go next. Or you
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Then,
Yeah, so I've already shared, sorry, my network may be hanging or something, but I've already shared on the chat. And if you want to check how my reInvent experience is, check me on TikTok. reInvent made me join TikTok. I never joined TikTok. I realized the pace at which reInvent was moving, I couldn't deal on it on LinkedIn. So yeah, you'll enjoy that. Okay.
Great. Terence?
All right. I mean, go for it, guys. I mean, if you've been doing what you need to do in the past year and you've engaged here and there, put your best foot forward and apply. But it's not do or die. If you feel like you want to polish up a little bit, you can take another year. This is a yearly thing. And be ambitious. Be ambitious. You never know where this journey will take you. Some people just began as community builders, and today we are seeing them out there as AWS heroes. For me, I'll still throw a massive, massive, massive challenge to Eastern and the Horn of Africa. We do not have a hero in this region. So you are being a community builder might be the stepping stone to something very big. You do not apply to become a hero. Your work is being watched by people out there. So you see these things you're posting, maybe you could choose to make one small post daily. I mean, very small post daily if you've chosen LinkedIn. And when you don't make a post, you'll easily find Mark did something, Adeline did something. Repost. To just show the world I'm still active, I'm still alive. My LinkedIn account is up and about. And it will be well. So you never know where the journey will take you. You may have started as a community builder, but we don't know how it will end for you. So you give it your best shot. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you very much. And also, I think just to echo what Terence has mentioned, if you don't feel like you're ready now, right? You can always once the application is over, there's always a reminder. So you just go. They'll email you a reminder to people to kind of apply for it. Then also before we finish, I think once Adeline has made the announcements, we'll just take one photo. We'll what's this called? Not unmute, but washa video zetu essentially. English imeisha. My English words for the day are over. Tutawasha video zetu, alafu we take like a selfie, then we'll put it on LinkedIn. Then you can repost, just say what you've learned and stuff like that, and be able to just start. So Adeline, then we can go on. Adeline.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Thank you, our guest speakers, for attending this session, and thanks to the participant for joining in and actually creating time considering it's a weekend. yeah, for me, it has also been a journey, and I was among the first people to be a community builder. And through the 4 or 5 years, I've really gained a lot. Yes. So maybe a few updates, we might be hosting, or we will be hosting our next virtual meeting in February, but the dates are not yet out. We'll share in the WhatsApp group and also on LinkedIn. And then we expect to have reInvent event recap on 1st of March, a physical event at KCA University. So Tuei and team are working on putting something together for that day. Yes. And also part of this journey, and something that I'm very grateful, is that I made it to be featured in one of the magazines. So maybe I might also be launching this magazine. So this is me, and it's about technology. It's about driving innovation through software development. A part of it is the most influential women leading the cloud innovation 2024. Yeah, so this is the first edition. More to come into. Yes, and maybe I'll be launching it on that 1st of March. Yeah, looking forward to meet you physically at KCA. And that's it from me. And have a lovely weekend. Back to you, Mark.
Yes, so thank you very much. Congratulations on that. It's actually very interesting. Kevin joined TikTok in December, Adeline's on a magazine cover. This year has a lot to offer. So if possible, I'd kindly request you can switch on your videos. We'll take one selfie or two, or I don't know what to call it, like a Zoom screenshot, essentially. Then we can kind of finish off. So if you're willing, that would be great. Hi, Daniel. Pleasure meeting you. Hi, Felix. Kevin. Tony's here. Tony is also here, actually. Tony Gitonga is one of our co-organizers. Hi, Tony. Okay. Remy is here. Hi, Remy. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Alex, I can see Alex, Enoch. I'm waiting for Enoch's video to load. I think he's switched it on, but I'm not saying it. But I'm okay. Let me just start taking the messages. What has happened? Oh, yeah. So I don't know. What should we say? What's the motto for this year? I don't know. Beyond the usual ones. I don't know what motto. Okay, let's just say community builder program. So just smile, yeah? Just continue smiling. I'm taking several selfies, eh? So just be smiling, Apple. We finished the day. Shadrach is there. Hi, Shadrach. Perfect. Nell. Hi, Nell. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Okay, I think we've taken a bunch of them. So thank you very much, guys, for coming through. To my WhatsApp link, Apple. You can join. Have fun with this. I'd like to really thank the speakers. We organized this, I think, on Wednesday or Tuesday, and they were more than willing to come and just be with us today. So thank you very much. It's just a testament to your commitment and your shared belief in just building community and your passion. So asante sana. And that's kind of the passion that we love to have on the community. So thank you very much, Terence, Pauline, Kevin, for coming. And also for the attendees for coming through. All the best with the applications. We're really looking forward to getting as many Kenyans onto the Community Builder program. And as Terence has said, an AWS hero coming in. About Timothy, I think, having him on, I think we'll definitely have him. I think he came for our Community Builder event, Community Day event last year. I'm not sure. But now that, he has fame, he's on the newspaper. Tutajaribu as much as possible. We'll pull all strings. I think Adele and Terence can call State House, then they can call him.
Sure. I can easily help.
Yes.
I was at their office. I was with him at their office on Wednesday last
Perfect.
week. So
so
in case of anything, I was meeting his bosses. So he's
Mm.
also a good friend. He's a good guy. I think
Absolutely.
he'll be happy to grace one of your occasions here.
Okay. Okay, now I'll just start putting some music as guys can I think just as leave and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Yeah. Yes, and
Okay,
also
all the best. Have a restful weekend.
have a good one, guys. Let me stop recording.